Hey everyone, I hope you are well and welcome to the first ever We Are Listening online event. In fact, this is the biggest one we've ever done, so thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Victoria and I'm the founder of We Are Listening and creative marketing manager of Toolroom Records. For you that might not know already, so We Are Listening is our female platform and event series to help grow, nurture and find more female talent in the industry. Today we have some amazing panels planned and I hope everyone watching this comes away feeling inspired and comes away feeling that they found the day genuinely useful and helpful.
Welcome to our next panel of the day, panel number 6. We are listening, how to get your music heard by the people that matter. And today we are going to be joined by Jaguar from BBC Radio 1 introducing. I think she's going to be joining us.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm here. Sorry, I didn't know what to do then.
How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. We're also going to be joined by Lou Cooper from Toolroom, which is going to appear any second, magically. Lou Cooper. We also have Nikki Ellis from Hospital Records is going to be joining us.
Hello.
Who have we got? Nikki, fantastic. How are you? Sheeno Parker from Centric as well.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. How are you, babe?
Good, thank you.
And Vicky McCall as well from Listen Up.
Hi. How are you doing?
Brilliant. And hopefully Lou will be joining us in a second. So this panel is all about getting your music heard by the people that really matter. So you might have spent months and months in the studio working on tunes. They might be mixed and mastered and ready to go. So from radio stations, record labels, streaming platforms and beyond, how do you begin to get your music heard by the people that matter and in turn reaching audiences all across the world? So what I thought would be really great to start off is if you could all tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and how long you've been in your current role, the company that you work for. Jag, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Also, thanks for having us. I've been really looking forward to this as well. So I'm Jaguar. I'm the host of BBC Introducing Dance, which, if you haven't heard of it, is basically like the new music platform for electronic artists. We've just celebrated our first birthday on Radio 1, so it launched a year ago, which is really exciting. And in that time, we've brought through so many artists who the system, how it works is you upload a track and then it can get played on your local introducing station where you're based. So say you're from Northern Ireland or say you're from Leeds or London, there's a station there. And then in addition to that, this introducing show on Radio 1 is just for dance music. So I listen to all the dance music tracks. We get hundreds a week now, which is amazing for the show. And it's the first step to getting your music played on national radio, on Radio 1 at the BBC. And yeah, it just can lead to so many cool things. And like last year, we brought through people like Meg Ward and Jacana People. We've Prosper early on, Blueprint, the list goes on. There's so many people. And so if anyone is listening to this and you're a new producer or DJ and you make music, you can send it to us on the BBC Introducing website. And I'd love to hear more new music, as always.
Fantastic. Now, I have a feeling that Lou is waiting backstage, so we're going to bring her into the conversation. Lou Cooper from Toolroom, Save, Kaluki, Etiquette.
Hello.
Lou, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you all?
Yeah, really good. Thanks so much for joining us. We're just going through what everyone does, who they work for. We've just started with Jag, and if you're up for it, then you can tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I've worked at Toolroom now for about 8 years. Before that, my journey into music basically began from like an early age. I was always obsessed with music. I went to uni, I did music journalism there. Once I left uni, I started working for 360 Group, who are like a massive artist management company. And I worked there in their label department on Mousetrap, Steve Angello's label Size, and a few other bits. And then after that, I sort of found that Toolroom were advertising for a new album coordinator. And so I went for that and got that. And then I did that for about 3 years. And then I got promoted to be the head of albums. So doing all like the compilations like Miami and Ibiza, all the artist albums. And then after that, about 3 years ago in 2018, we set up a label management sort of arm of the business called Amplified. So I'm now currently doing that. So I label manage for Nick Fanciulli's Saved, Hannah Wants's Label Etiquette, Danny Howard's Nothing Else Matters, Left Wing Cody's Lost. And we also work with the events brands Abode and Kaluki. So I do the label management for them as well. And then also there's like 4 or 5 different in-house labels at Toolroom. So Toolroom Tracks, Rhythm District, Strange Love. So I sort of, I look after all of them on a day-to-day basis, doing label management for those.
Fantastic work. And all of those brands are absolutely flying. So you're obviously doing something right. Nikki, over to you.
Sure. So I'm head of label manager at Hospital Records. We're a drum and bass label based in South London. We've been going, this is our 25th year actually. We just celebrated our 25th birthday a couple of weeks ago. And we're a record label. We're also an events brand, hospitality, and we normally have club shows all around the world, and we have a couple of festivals as well. So my role involves sort of the day-to-day operations at the label, overseeing sort of digital distribution, manufacturing, promotion, marketing, and A&R as well. So I'm kind of across everything at the label. Prior to this role that I've been in, I think almost 2 years now, was promotions manager at the label as well. So kind of come through a press, radio, marketing background too.
Brilliant. Shino, what about you?
I'm the creative manager at Centric and Blackrock Publishing, facilitating collaborations with our electronic music production talent and our multi-genre singer-songwriting talent. I've been in a role for 9 months at Centric, and prior to that, I worked for the Association for Electronic Music as their events manager.
Awesome. Vicky, what about you?
I'm Becky. Thanks for having me on. I am the head of national radio promotions at Listen Up, who are a music promotions company. We do radio plugging, we do press, club promotions, we do streaming as well. So it's kind of like a 360 if you want all of the above. We can do it all together, but most of the time we can just have specific campaigns or radio. I've been at Listen Up for 5 years now, and I started as an intern. And I've just worked my way up, to be honest. I've been in my role now for the last year and a bit, and it's been, most of it's been in lockdown, to be fair, which is weird, but it's been a good year all the same.
So obviously all of you listen to music day in, day out. For a start, what I'd love to know is if anybody wanted to submit music to you, how do they do that? And secondly, in the same question, how can someone stand out? Jag, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. So for BBC Introducing and for the show that I do on Radio 1, everything comes from the BBC Introducing uploader. So as I said, BBC Introducing website, super easy. You can just make a profile, say where you're based in the UK, and you can upload 2 tracks a month, I believe. And then, I think top tips for that is to obviously upload your best tracks, finished. You know, if you can get them mastered, but if not, just like finished and ready to go, you're happy with them. And then just write as much information about yourself as you can as possible. In the bio, you can put links to your Instagram and your socials as well, because that's just really helpful to just get an idea of what kind of artist you are. But to be honest, I'm not looking for social media following or, we want unsigned, raw, amazing music. And I think tips for standing out, amongst the 600 tracks I'm going through a week for the show is probably just something that's polished and good quality production, first of all, but just something that just feels a bit different and a bit unique, and isn't trying to maybe follow a trend, or is just, I think a good tip for artists is just to make the music you want to make and make something you're super happy with and that you love, because if you love it, chances are I might love it as well.
Such a good point. Lou, what about you?
Yeah, so I think it's always best to research where to send the music to. So always check the websites for the radio contacts and that, and make sure you're speaking to the right people. And someone that's got something bit different about them in terms of the actual music. Try and think outside the box a bit rather than just sort of sending the same things that I get sent so much of the same music all the time. So yeah, just try and add your own sort of creative flair to each track and make it yours really. And then always make sure that you sort of, when you're submitting a demo, add like who's featured you in the past, like where have you been played on radio, any DJs that are supporting you, things like that, that then the label can see you know, how big you are and like how well you're doing basically.
Fantastic. Nikki, what about you if anyone wanted to send music to hospital?
Yeah, so we have a couple of ways. We have our demo Dropbox, which is on our website that anyone can send tunes to, and that gets checked really regularly from our A&R team. And then we also have most of our A&R team's emails on the website too, on our contact page. So we're all quite accessible and people can email us at any time and send in tunes. More like practical things, obviously send in your best 1 or 2 tunes. You know, really make sure that you think about the selection and think about the label that you're sending it to and which of your tunes are the most appropriate. Send downloadable links, preferably MP3s. SoundCloud, Dropbox is fine. But yeah, I think the main thing is just really thinking about which tracks and which you're most proud of and which feel most authentic and honest and special to you, that you think you're bringing something new to the label that perhaps they haven't heard before.
Sheena, what about you?
I guess for me it's slightly different because as a publisher we're not signing music, but we, especially in my role, I come in from a kind of creative standpoint, so that little bit just before you're going to be submitting to say Jaguar or Lou or Nikki. So for me what I'm looking for is original music. I don't want samples in the music that you're sending me, because at the moment what I want to do is be able to help you collaborate with other producers or top liners to have original new music. So that's just a tip from me, is to not use samples and just make the music that you want to make that makes you happy.
Vicky, what about you?
Yeah, we send Listen Up Records and go on our website, and we've got a new music email, and so we answer that email all the time. So if you want to send music on that, to be honest, I'd probably be the other side, where if you can send a streaming link and I don't have to download it onto, it'll be easier for us to listen to. You can send a streaming link, and you know, as the guys say, just any information about yourselves, and yeah, just echo what they say, the girls say. It's we can have an artist like Medusa, and then for the next year everyone's sending a record that sounds like Medusa, and it seems to be that there's artists that we're doing, and you know, I think as soon as someone gets in the top 10, then everyone else is trying to make that record, which doesn't really work. You want to be that original, you want to set your own trend, and I think it's just trust your own gut and do your thing, and just try and be as original as you can, and don't try and look at what other people are doing, because these records have done well because they've probably broke the mold and trying to do something different. So yeah, I'd probably say that.
So Vicky, once you've listened to music at Listen Up and you might like an artist and they start working with you, how does Listen Up then work in terms of pitching tracks to radio? What are those steps? How does that work?
So it's kind of, we do it in many ways. We can do it. We are on phone calls all the time. We see people all the time. Obviously not at the minute because we're inside. But you know, we have a lot of meetings with everyone, be that music teams at radio stations, presenters, producers of different shows. So for us, it's all about, the key thing for us is the relationship that we have with everyone, and you know, what really helps is the fact that people trust what we're going to be sending them. So it's kind of one of them things where we're on the phone to people, we see them in person, we pitch via email. We also have mailing lists like InFlight, is a platform called InFlight that we'll send out. So there's loads of different ways that we'll basically cover all bases, but when it really all boils down to it, it is just, you know, the quality of the music, and for us to continue to keep those relationships and hopefully have that trust from the people that we're sending music to.
And obviously then, Jag, you must work alongside pluggers as well, do you? Or do you mainly do it from the uploader?
To be honest, like, I try and actually steer clear from pluggers, no disrespect.
No.
And yeah, it's good to know, like, obviously, you know, I'm across everything, and it's good to know who's got teams and stuff and who's working with pluggers, and you know, sometimes it's really helpful to have that extra sort of spotlight. But yeah, I really want the show to just be authentically sort of grassroots and try and play as many unsigned and up and coming people as possible. That's sort of the brief I've been given. And so, yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't need anything. You just need to upload your music. And if it's dance music, you tick like the dance and electronic genre box, and then it will come straight to me.
Awesome. So Sheena, I'd just love to chat a bit about publishing for anybody that doesn't know what publishing is. What are the benefits of working with a publisher to get your music out there?
Apart from, I guess, the kind of admin side of things and royalty collections, I see a publisher as being able to help you raise your profile and get you in front of the right labels, into radio shows by introducing you to other producers and finishers to get your music up to a certain standard. We can help you find top liners to make your music more accessible. We can act as a pathway to labels, certainly. And also we will place your music and pitch your music regularly for sync, so for TV ads, film, etc., which will get you paid for your exposure as well.
Awesome. So I'd love to chat to Lou and Nikki on this next point. What's the best and worst things to do when submitting a demo to a label manager? Obviously, there's some people that come in and they smash it, and there's others that you're just like, please don't do that. What sort of things do people, especially new artists, need to keep an eye out for?
So I think it's always best to make the email as personal as possible. So whoever you're emailing, try and find out who they are, what their name is, what's their job role at the label. Include a brief paragraph about who you are, what labels you've released on before. Those are all good things to help a label to know more about you. Also, another thing, triple check the link that you actually send to the label before you send it. I get sent so many demos that I then go to listen to the link and the link's been deleted, or it's not a private link, so it doesn't let you view it. So yeah, always triple check the link that you're sending out. The worst thing I probably get from sending demos is people that CC like 50 other labels as well onto your email. So you get a demo that's like, hi, this is my demo, please check it out. But it's also got 55 other labels all CC'd on the email. So that's definitely a no-no from my side. I think
would that stop you listening to something, or would you still listen to it?
Yeah, I would still listen to it, but it does massively put you off, because you want them to be sending it to you, not to 50 other labels. Like, you want them to have the passion, the dream to release it on your label, rather than just, here's my music, release it anywhere. Another thing as well, don't send like 100 demos on one link. Always just send like your best 1 or 2 demos, because no A&R has got the time to sit there and trawl through like 15, 20 demos. So yeah, always just send like your best ones, and make sure you finish the track before you send it. I get sent a lot of unfinished things as well, and people put in the comments like, oh, this is just a rough first version. But yeah, definitely finish the track before you send it somewhere as well. Yeah, that's probably my sort of best do's and don'ts for submitting a demo.
Nikki, what about you?
Yeah, I echo a lot of what Lou said. I guess as well, try and be quite concise with your email. Try not to make it too long, but make sure you give like a clear and concise sort of 1 paragraph summary of who you are as an artist, what you're looking for, and definitely, be selective with the tracks that you're sending. And I think I said before, like, make sure that you're researching the label and the roster and their releases, or listening to their podcast before you reach out to them. Make sure it's an appropriate label for the music that you're sending. And also, I think just be persistent too. Like, don't be disheartened if someone doesn't get back to you within a week, and chase them up and be polite. But yeah, be persistent. I think that will get you further. Appreciate that everyone's quite busy and that they will get back to you if you keep trying.
Jag, what about you? Anyone submitting to radio, any do's and don'ts, any things that you come across that people shouldn't be doing?
Do's and don'ts. Yeah, similar. Like, don't send something that's unfinished, because all we can judge you on is the music you're sending, and if it's like not quite there, then that's unfortunately the only impression we can get. And yeah, I would just say that really. I suppose also it is quite useful to have radio edits if you have them, to upload those, because a lot of the radio shows across BBC Introducing prefer like the shorter radio edits if you've got them.
Awesome. Okay, so what I'd love to come on to now and just throw this out to all of you. What has been some of the best projects that you've worked on? Which has been some things that have been real standout for you that you've absolutely loved? Anyone can take this.
Okay, I'll go. I've got kind of, it's hard to pick, so there's probably two projects. One is working on album projects. So I'm currently working with Matador and Roger Sanchez on their album projects, which has been a brilliant opportunity and amazing to do. And the other is developing and creating Centric and Black Rock's first like kind of electronic writing camp strategy, and kind of seeing that realised with working with Mackie G, Piero Perupa, Molly Collins, and working with a whole host of amazing like singer-songwriters that are coming to us in Centric. So those would be probably my two kind of projects that I'm working on that just make me smile each day.
Vicky, what about you?
I'll go. I can go next. Obviously, the Toolroom family and Hospital family that we work with, obviously they're great to work on. But I go on females just because we're all female. I think a few genres. I work with Becky Hill, who is a singer-songwriter who has been kind of on quite a lot of dance records and kind of moving more in the commercial sort of lane. So I've worked with her for the last kind of 2.5 years, and just kind of, it's been great to see her progression to kind of be where she is as an artist today as where she was before. We also work with an artist called Jodie Harsh that I know Jag's been playing.
Love Jodie. Yes.
Jodie we've started working with, and it's just been amazing to, especially with this release, My House, and we've got more releases to come. I think I love working artist propositions, and it is kind of the grassroots level and kind of seeing them flourish to get to where they are and get to daytime play on radio is not as easy as what people think. So it's being able to kind of be involved in that and be passionate and love Jodie as an artist, and I just want to see her be as big as she can. So it's stuff like that. But then, you know, there's a big artist we work with that's not in electronic music called Doja Cat, who I've worked with kind of from the start really of her kind of being pushed to UK radio, and it's been so nice to see her progress and kind of getting #2 record in the charts, and now with a new album coming. So I want to work with as many strong females as possible as well, and not dissing the men, because we work with amazing men. But for me, it's you know, I really want to uplift as many as I can, and especially in electronic music. But just they're kind of highlights for me.
Lou, what about you?
Mine's probably, well, everything that I do. I do so many different labels, so I couldn't pick a favourite and say this, because then the other ones would get upset. But probably going back to my time on doing the Toolroom albums, I was involved heavily with the Toolroom 15 album that we did, and that was probably a really good career highlight. That I signed like 70 records for that, and worked with like the likes of Shade and Mark Knight, obviously, Format B, people like that. That was a real highlight. And then we did like CD and vinyl, which I got to sort of work with the designer on all of that, and we did a really cool world tour at the end of it. So that's probably one of my favourite projects that I've worked on.
Nikki, what about you?
Yeah, I've got a few. I was trying to pick one, but I'll just run through a few. Like I said before, we just released our Hospital 25 album, which was 25 sort of remixes and reworks and covers and VIPs of classic Hospital tunes. So that's been we actually started working on that, I think, last June. So it's just come out. So it's kind of been a long time coming. So I'm really proud of that one. It seemed to got a really good reaction from fans, and it's just been nice to kind of to look back on the whole catalogue and revitalise some of those older tunes, and sort of so that's been really fun. And then this year we've also started a new series called Future Symptoms, which is looking at new up and coming artists that we're excited about, and we're doing 4 EPs throughout the year, and that's been a really great opportunity to sort of nurture some new talent and give people some opportunities at the label. And then the third is in 2019 we started a Women in Drum and Bass mentorship program. So just finished our first one. They're a year long with a really talented producer called Stacey from South Africa, and she's incredible, really special lady. So that's been really great to see her grow and develop over the last year.
Awesome. Some real standout projects there. Absolutely love it. Jag, what about you?
God, I mean, I'm going to have to say building Introducing Dance has been like the most amazing thing, because we've been working up to this show for the last, let's say, since like 2017, to be honest. We've been trying to really push electronic music within Introducing, which obviously caters for so many different genres as well, of course. And yeah, launching the show and just seeing the success stories we've had come out of it. Like, we've really pushed people like India Jordan, Tisha, Model Man, LF System, Tom Everett, Barry Can't Swim. Like, the list goes on, and these people are now sort of, you see them get played on Introducing Dance on Sunday nights, and then you'll see, I'm always sending records to Danny Howard and Annie Mac and Pete Tong, and you see them playing them, and then you can see, you know, for example, with Tom Everett, which was a really organic story of Introducing. He's went to uni in Leeds, uploaded to the West Yorkshire show, 2 tracks completely unsigned, just tracks he made in his bedroom, and then he got played on the local Introducing show in Leeds, and then I played it. This is literally April last year, and then his now manager heard it on my show, signed him, then he signed to a record label, and then that track got released properly through 3 Beat, I think, which is on a major label, and then got made Introducing Track of the Week, so then was added to the Radio 1 playlist for a week, and then went on to become added to the C list on Radio 1, and was just played everywhere. And literally just from uploading his music, with, I doubt he expected that to happen. And yeah, to be able to do that for a lot of artists and just help them, you know, have this huge leg up is amazing. And I will say as well, throughout March, I'm really proud to say that we're just focusing on women and non-binary producers for the whole month. So that's 4 shows worth of just women and non-binary producers, because obviously the statistic is really low. It's like 4% of producers are women. So if you want to find your new favorite non-male producer, then I would recommend checking out the last few shows, because there's been some great stuff on there.
Well done, Jag. You have worked so hard over the last few years, and especially during lockdown, you've completely flown and helped so many artists when times were really, really tough. Someone on Facebook has actually asked a question for you, Jag, and they've said, how do I make sure that my submission on BBC Introducing gets to you?
Okay, cool. So all you need to do is, upload it, and then it asks you what genre the track is. So if you just tick the electronic box, everything comes to this particular inbox that I check every few days. So if you do that, it will come to me straight away.
Okay, and I've got another question to throw out there to all of you, from Amanda, who says, when listening to demos, is an okay mix a deal breaker? I work really hard on sound design and arranging, but I'm not a professional mix engineer, trying to figure out if it's worth paying a mix engineer to get that final polish when submitting to labels. Does that matter? I don't know if you want to take that, Lou, or Nikki.
I think if there's potential in the tune, there's something really special about it. We can hear through the mix down if that's not perfect. You know, if you want to take it to that next level, perhaps invest some time into improving your mix downs. You know, try and feel more confident in what you can bring yourself, rather than always going to pay someone else to do it, and maybe just dedicate that time. But yeah, as long as those sort of special key elements there in the music and the musicality is there, then we can definitely hear through it.
Great. And I had another question for Jag. How do you get through so many demos, Jag?
Yeah, it takes quite a while. I normally dedicate like Mondays and Fridays to just sitting on the uploader and just going through one by one. And yeah, I think you kind of know when I normally just download the ones I like the sound of, and I think you can kind of get a gauge pretty quickly if it's going to be a bit of you. Like, again, the quality of the production does help, but again, if it's not perfect, if you can hear something unique and a bit cool and quirky, then I'll definitely download that and consider it for the show.
Okay, I would love to throw out a question to all of you, and starting with you, Vicky, if that's okay. Are there any up-and-coming artists that we all need to know about? Are there any campaigns you're looking forward to working on that the world needs to know about? Is there anyone that you've discovered that you think would be really good to shout about?
I'm trying to think. Obviously, it's hard when you're like up-and-coming, because it's like, is it like really, really grassroots, or is it someone going towards? I think because I work national campaigns, it's mad to see, you know, some artists that we might know that are up and coming, that are, you know, we've known and listened to, you know, for years, but from our side of things, getting them to have that moment in terms of probably more commercial and across like all the stations is really what I like to see. So the likes of Judy Harsh, even though she's been around, you know, for ages, it's so great to see, you know, her being able to kind of have her moment at daytime and be added to Kiss FM and be added to Radio 1 playlists. And so I kind of work with more of those. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Can you come back to me?
Of course, yeah. Gino, should we go to you?
I think I've got 3 people to pull out. Elka, she's a Welsh producer. Baklava, Brighton-based, like me. We publish her. She's absolutely brilliant. And then Yazus, she was nominated by DJ Mag Best of Brits last year's Breakthrough Producer. So those are the 3.
Love Yazus.
Yeah, 3 really strong names there. Lou, what about you?
So I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Mane, she's someone that I've been keeping an eye on for about the last year or so. She did a really cool EP on Save last year, which I signed, and since then she's gone on to get like management and had released on Moon Harbour. So yeah, I really love her music. She's really good. Also Melanie Reid and Maxine, who was also on our Toolroom management firm. She's really cool as well. I've known Maxine for years. So yeah, those are my sort of 3 ones to watch.
Wicked. Nikki, what about you?
We've got a couple of album projects coming up that I'm really excited for. A guy called Degs, who's an MC, singer, songwriter, and producer and DJ on our roster. He's got a mixtape coming out at the end of the month. And then another artist who we've worked with for the last few years, he's got his debut album coming out, a guy called Unglued, in the summer. And also Renee Stacey that I mentioned earlier, I think she's going to do some really great things in the next couple of years. We're also working with a lady called Ellie Veridity. She's a singer and producer. She's got the most beautiful voice. She's really special. So we're working with her on our second mentorship this year. So yeah, and a guy called Windsor as well. He's making some really great liquid drum and bass at the moment.
Awesome. Jag, what about you?
Oh my God, I was literally just done trying to scroll through like who I've been playing. There's so many. I suppose there's Laura. There's a duo from Glasgow called Kintra with a K. Sweet Pea, who makes drum and bass, who's really cool. I don't know if you know her, Nikki, but she's great. And there's a girl called Beth, also from Glasgow. I played a track from her the other week, and it was just big. I think she's Beth_DJ on Twitter. God, there's so many. You know what? I don't want to like plug my show, but genuinely, like, look at my track list for the show because it's literally the people I've been loving that week that I put in that show. So go there.
Brilliant stuff, and some really strong names across every single one of you. Vicky, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I'm like, what we did? Yeah, Baklava. The people like Baklava and people like that, where you see her coming through and kind of getting unsigned, and then getting signed to like Ministry of Sound and really kind of moving. The likes of Judy Harsh. We're doing a few other non-electronic acts that are coming through. A girl called Camille, who you probably would know is written on probably Little Mix Records and everything like that. So she's coming through as an artist. We're also doing an artist called a girl called Princess Nokia, who we've started kind of working with. So we kind of work with electronic and pop, be it R&B, rap, and we kind of do everything. But there's just so many that I want to see win, and so it takes a minute to get to that daytime, but I really want to see them win. So yeah, those would probably be the few. It's
fantastic
hard.
Stuff.
It's more like, oh God, my brain.
Thank you all so much. This has been such a brilliant panel, especially for new producers and artists who are coming into the scene who want to understand how to reach all of you.